These are the ones I don't like doing. Welcome back to Game Reviews, Good Game Reviews. Uh, this wasn't such a good game though. For majority of the game, the Patriots did not come out like the Patriots. By halftime, I think the score was 3-21. Just overall bad football all game. First thing I want to touch on is the offense or lack thereof. They just couldn't get anything going. I mean, Cordell, they didn't implement Cordell in the game. They couldn't get the ball to Gronk at all. I mean, I think he only had like 2 catches that whole entire game. That is ridiculous. Hogan had 2 touchdowns, but you can't really count that last one because that was like garbage time pretty much. That was like a Blake Bortles type touchdown. Like his touchdowns, but they used to be garbage time touchdowns. Now it looks like a role reversal or something. But anyway, Philip Dorsett caught a few passes, but not enough to like make any like noticeable changes in the game. James White was James White. He was pretty much like the most dependable piece that he had on the whole offense. Rex Burkhead, we couldn't really get anything going. We couldn't get a rush game going at all, and I'm not sure if that's just because their defense is just that good when it comes to the rush. I know last year the Jags defense wasn't as good as, at least their rush defense wasn't that good, but it looks like they improved not only their their passing defense over the years, but now they got a rush defense. So I guess y'all, hey, other teams, look out for that defense, because if they continue to play like that, then this might be their year. But it's too early to say. It's week 2. Anything can happen over the course of the season, so don't want to go ahead and start crowning them yet. There's still tons of games to be played, so yeah. Sony Michel debut, not as electric as I pictured it. Now again, it could just be because this defense is just that good. Maybe we'll get a chance to see what he can do next week against the Lions. At least according to what I've seen, their run defense isn't just superb. So maybe they'll have a chance to do something against that. But from what I saw, definitely wasn't a first round pick game. Let me say that. But I mean, that whole, like, the offense as a whole couldn't get anything going, especially the offensive line. And they showed how much they missed Marcus Cannon, because Le'Adrian Waddle couldn't block anything that whole entire game. Brady was rushed the whole game. He got dropped a couple times. Took either 1 or 2 sacks. Just wasn't good football all around, and it only got worse when it came to the defense, because the defense couldn't stop anything, especially the first few drives. It just looked like every drive was just meant to be a score, and pretty much like that first quarter is what put them in such a hole. I mean, they gave up 14 points before the first quarter even ended. So that just shows you, like, if you dig yourself into a hole, unless the team pretty much messes up from then on, you're probably not going to climb yourself out of that. Some positives, I guess, would be of course, James White, the only positive like from the offensive side of the ball. Uh, and as far as defense goes, I know I just got you saying that they gave up a lot of plays, but there were some plays where they could have really gotten the game back in their hands, and they were able to do a couple of plays. They had fumble recoveries, they had an interception. They just needed to make more plays. They had one fumble recovery that they could have gotten when Trey Flowers punched the ball out, and it was about 3 Patriots in the area, and they could have easily jumped on top of it. The other fumble recovery, they could have easily went down. Like, that was like the best field position they had that whole game. I think they was at the 30, if not, or a little bit behind, or a little bit forward, but there was at least around the 30, and that was like the best field position, at least starting field position that they had that whole game. And on the second play of that drive, Adrian Waddle, just for some reason he just couldn't block the pass rush, and that ended in a strip sack, and just wasn't good from there on. Questionable calls definitely would be the non-call on the offside. Did really pretty much took all the momentum away from New England. Like, if they had any chance, that was probably like their last chance when they should have got that offsides call. But things happen. Calls don't. Sometimes your teams get the calls they want or need, but sometimes they don't. That's just how it works out. Special teams, don't really have anything to say about special teams. They can still do better when it comes to taking care of the returner. But they didn't really they didn't they didn't stack up any penalties. They didn't allow large, returns. They pretty much did, what they had to do. If anything, that was probably the most positive out of everything, at least the special teams, and that's saying a lot considering how bad of a game that was, at least on the Patriots side of the ball. Jaguars did a good job. They took care of things on offense. They took care of things on the defense. They was aggressive the whole game, which was a big change from the AFC Championship game. And they just didn't make too many mistakes. And mistakes that they did make, they made up for right after. That was the thing that I guess is most impressive about them. They make mistakes, but they made up for those mistakes either a play after that or a few plays right after that. So if I want to give a grade for every side of the ball, at least on the Patriots side, I would give the Patriots offense a D, simply because they couldn't really get anything going, and the only time when they could get anything going was when they were given good field position, and they couldn't find a way to drive the ball down the field. Offensive line was terrible, no running game. Passers couldn't get open, so I had to give a D for the offense. Also, Brady was off on a couple throws, so yeah, the offense wasn't coming together. Defensive grade, I would give the defense. Now, I'll go a little bit lax on the defense only because they lost 2 crucial starters in Trey Flowers and Patrick Chung, both to concussion. So I would give the defense a D plus, D plus, C minus, whatever you want to call it. But they still could have done a lot better. You know what? I'll go ahead and give them a C minus because they did make some crucial plays, and the few that they did make could have been capitalized better on the offense. So I will go ahead and give them. I'll go ahead and give them just a C. Because they did. The secondary was kind of awful, but there were times where they, did what they had to do and they caused turnovers. So that's pretty good. Special teams, I'll give the special teams B minus. Only because they didn't allow the other teams to, get really good field position, and Ponder did what he was supposed. Ryan Allen did what he was supposed to do. They defended well on that, so they pretty much did what they had to do. They were the best part of the game. So that's my review. I'll come back in about a week. Lions versus the Patriots. That'll be in Detroit. And so far, I'm off.